Mine's being creative.
Mine's being creative. Mine's being... Oh. It's like, I just hear the stop in the room. I didn't even actually hear you guys, like, hit anything. I just, like, it's just like, why do I have the distinct feeling that I've got attention on me while I'm singing over here? Anyway, why don't you look?
Hey guys, how are you doing? And welcome to another Ordinary Men Who Fight Like Heroes podcast. I am Chris Fearing, and I'm here joined at the table by
Drunks and Dragons
And Aaron Bass.
Okay.
Being creative.
Okay, well, you know, that's a good segue, because over the years we've come up with a lot of weird ass stuff to say.
Yeah, we have.
And like, some of it's funny, some of it's really, really fucking annoying. But like, where did these things?
Sometimes that's even on purpose.
Yeah, where did these things initially start? Like, one I remember is
Brain tumors.
Okay, well, I remember where the whole I have many strokes.
Oh yeah, we can start with that one.
Yeah, I know where that one comes from. We're in line at a Taco Bell, and Justin was in the passenger seat, and I was driving. And we were talking about what we're going to get to order. And Aaron was in the back seat, and he had gone with us. And we were ordering food and everything like that. And so I turned to the window and say what Justin wants. And the woman at the drive-thru asks, well, what does he want to drink?
Oh, yeah,
And I turned to Justin and said, what do you want to drink, man?
I couldn't think of what soda they had at Taco Bell. I blanked, so I'm just like, whatever the basic, the Pepsi, Coke, whatever the basic cola is.
Well, he flat out says Coke to me. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, Justin, they only serve Pepsi products. And as I turned, but it doesn't process right. So when I turned to the window, or to the voice box to say it, I just turned to the voice box and go, Pepsi?
And we all just kind of got quiet. Like,
yeah, I'm like, did this motherfucker just say Pepsi?
Like a 5-year-old or something?
To the drive-thru woman?
And she didn't really act like it bothered her at all. Like, maybe other people just say Pepsi too. Maybe that's just the world we live in.
Pepsi twist?
God. Okay, well, there's other ones, like, when did Seth start doing the Harry Potter thing?
Oh,
where did that come from?
Oh,
That's years
old.
ago.
I want to say that's old as the hills are days.
Yeah, I mean...
Where'd that start,
It
though?
came from just, so, like, I believe...
Because he said because it annoyed the shit out of you, Aaron.
Yeah, he did.
Harry Potter!
He's supposed to be imitating freaking, like, the Weasley mother. I forget her name.
Is he really?
I think. At least that's who I think of.
I think he's just imitating someone who spots Harry Potter in the movies and is like, Harry Potter, because that happens all the time.
That sounds also legit.
But how did it begin to be the thing he would high-pitched say
I
just
know,
to, like, irritate
I think
you?
it also was, like, something that came out of, like, his days when he would just go, fancy, and, like, say it really high-pitched and annoying. And it was just something else he found was high-pitched and annoying. And so he set them all both together, and so there's not really much origin on it.
Well, I remember where the fancy thing comes from.
He tinged to something together, and I think I said fancy, and then he copied me.
No, he was in the living room. I was actually standing by the wine glasses, and you had gone to the bathroom. So you're coming out of the bathroom, and I just like, hey, Aaron, and I went ting, and knocked them together, and you just flatly said fancy.
Yeah.
And then from the other room, Seth just goes fancy.
Yeah, there it is.
And started fucking using that.
See, I'm so used to all of us just being like, fancy! Like, whenever something fancy is around.
But, like, okay, one of the ones that I'm not a super huge fan of is the So
why?
So just to demonstrate for folks, you guys go ahead and do it.
Oh boy.
And then we'll talk about where it came from.
The proper execution is You need to be like You need to be like it's funny.
Well, let's
and
get
then
it going.
like
Let's get it going.
It's
it's funny and then like it's not like it's kind of gross.
Okay,
So
well,
like,
yeah, that's the explanation of the noise. Oh my god!
But you gotta imagine this being jumped around between 3 idiots
In a car.
in a car on the way to cookout. 2 of them buzzed fairly good.
Yeah.
So like that's
Where did that fucking start, though?
Jeez Louise, that's a tough one.
I know by itself.
I did it.
You did.
There was something gross, like a joke or something that Seth told or showed me, and that was kind of like my reaction, and it tickled him. He just thought that was funny, because I was like, with a smile on my face, and then it turned to an abrupt, like, like, oh, that's gross.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Like, this, I don't understand what I'm seeing just yet. Okay, now I do. Like, it made him laugh, and we've just kind of used that as our kind of, like, if it's gross but kind of amusing, that is our default response. It's just kind of,
Now, but with us, it goes beyond just like jokes and said things. Like,
God, yeah.
There's a concept called farrowing.
That's really interesting to
For
explain.
the longest time, like, I had thought it would be like if you put your t-shirt on your head, like upside down, so the neck hole is kind of like crowning the top of your head, and let the rest of it hang. You could let the sleeves hang on either side of your face, and the rest of the t-shirt hang on the back, and it would look like one of those the pharaoh hoods,
like the ancient Egyptian headwear.
Yeah, and so I don't know what night it was.
It was some night we were going to cookout.
No. It was some night that we were doing something. I think it's Seth's. And people were just fucking taking their shirts off.
Okay.
We didn't
For no
fair
reason.
that
Well,
first
that just
night.
sounds really homosexual.
No, but like, we didn't fare that night. See, we were watching Congo. And I decided that I was going to have 7 to 8 shots. And then we
You
decided
made that
to go-
executive decision.
I had like the first couple, and we were getting into the movie, and then I had a couple more. It got to the point where we ran out of like the spiced rum, and we were hitting that like lemon shit that I don't even remember tasting. I remember tasting bad, and then I remember like later on, like mentally thinking, "Oh, this doesn't taste as bad when this is shot number 5." Like that was
You were pretty gone.
that was not good later, but that was the best viewing of Congo that we never finished. That was the best. There was some shit in that movie that I think back to makes me weak as hell. Oh my god.
But whenever it was, I think I was the first one to just like pull it off and do it.
Yeah.
And I think Seth followed suit.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
And then it was like him coaxing got Justin to do it because Justin was buzzed at that point.
Makes Seth just sound like a guy that jumps on the bandwagon, but quite literally he finds the gold and stuff, and it's like, "Hey guys, look!" And we're like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
And we'll rally behind that banner. You bet. But we went shirtless with just our jackets on to cook out that night.
That's right.
Like we were shirtless but with jackets on.
Yeah.
And we went to cook out.
God. I forgot about that shit.
I teeter so hard
But-
to think of those days.
You teeter like a peak, like a teetering peak.
like,
Oh, you mean tittered?
oh,
Tittered.
damn it.
That should be the word that be first and foremost before teat is tit.
Titter, you know what I mean. I giggle. I giggle when I think back to watching Congo and going shirtless with a jacket on to cook out.
But beyond all that, it became like tradition whenever we would all hang out, and like these guys would drink and just get gone, and we'd always end up like farrowing by the end of the night, and we'd all jump in my car or Drew's Jeep or what have you, and all go to cookout while farrowing
At like 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning through the drive-through.
We apologize to the people at Cookout. They don't deserve to be
So-
at 2 in the morning, to be bombarded by such morons. Not that we like hassle them or anything. We order our food and make jokes in the car. Okay, we hassle the driver. We hassle whoever's we hassle Chris.
Yeah,
Because Chris is trying to just like place a earnest order for like chicken quesadilla with fries, and someone's in the back being like, "Ask them if they have any decks. Do they have any decks?"
Well, the first person we did that to was Drew.
Yeah, that's
Drew
right.
hit you.
Yeah, because I was sitting in the fucking middle of the back seat, and Drew's driving, and Drew's fine with everybody, but he's a homophobe in the hilarious way. Or if you make any kind of mention of it, or if you just look at him and say 2 big, fat, naked, sweaty guys having sex, he will like he can't stop himself from immediately picturing it and like cringing himself into nothingness. But so
In a way, he kind of.
yeah. But we're at
But more of
cookout.
the,
and I think you were in the front, and me, Seth, and Justin were in the back. And I don't know who was that started it, but just like leaned forward as he was giving the order, and was just like, ask them if they have any dicks.
Next time, somebody who's like in the driver's seat needs to get that whisper, like, hey, can you ask them if they have any dicks? Like, seriously done. Just so that it throws them off.
That would be awesome.
Man, the thing that really... the thing that makes me... Oh, man, like, Drew made his own beer that one other time, too. And
Yeah.
that was good stuff. You put, like, the orange peel. Yeah, man, Drew's making his own beer. It's great. I haven't really drank in a while, though. I haven't drank since my birthday.
Okay, where did Blackward skipping come from?
Well, that was also another incident from drunken cookout times.
Okay, so there's a lot of drunken cookout stories, and I gotta get that I gotta get it. Oh man, if I go in to get a tattoo, I gotta get a tattoo of the 2 on my arm. So we'll get to that later. But you tell us where Blackward skipping came from, Eric.
We were walking back from cookout to Seth's house.
Okay, so cookout is close enough to drive to, but it's also cook enough to walk close to.
Cook enough to walk close?
Oh God!
Did I hear that right?
You sure you haven't been drinking? Popping a few down in the kitchen?
Yeah, no, I'm sure I haven't been drinking.
You sound disappointed.
I am. I really am.
I wish I was sauced.
Yeah,
No,
I do.
I wish I was.
I wish I was. Yeah, I wish I was. I wish I was.
Okay, so what was going on, Aaron?
So basically, for some reason, I was feeling great. I don't know, maybe it was because I had just something to drink that was really kind of good. Or maybe it was just the night air. Whatever. It was the alcohol. But I was...
You heard it right. It was the alcohol.
Damn it.
Yes! Not the only one.
It was the alcohol, and I was just skipping along.
But you were skipping backwards.
I did that after.
Okay, because I had the video. They had the video of you skipping backwards.
Yeah, no, I think Drew just asked, hey, can you skip backwards? Or something like that.
He asked if he could do it again so we could film it. So we'd have it for posterity. Oh my goodness.
What?
Just fucking, that walk to cookout was pretty funny, and that walk back was pretty funnier because of the Blackward skipping.
Well, I mean, beyond the inside jokes and the phrasing and stuff, we've also got like just awful, god awful things we do to each other.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like where you and Seth will fart, cup your hand, and then hurl it at someone nearby.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually effective. It works. God. I encourage everyone to try it. I encourage everyone to start a fart war.
I gotta say though, he's the worst one about the farts.
He's made threats about like farting on like bare pillows to get pink eye or some shit. Like, don't go to war with the man. He'll win. Oh man, there's a lot of other inside jokes. It makes me realize cookout is intimately tied in with
a lot of our jokes.
A lot of our drinking.
Yeah.
A lot of our drinking ends with a funny trip to cookout. Where we come back and then eat and then finally begin to sober.
Or wait. A funny trip to Cookout Bug's house.
Yeah, that's true. There's an inside joke for Cookout House Bug.
God. We are not drunk right now.
Okay, as the only sober person on this podcast right now.
No.
I wish I was drunk.
We had gone to Cookout one night, and on the exterior of the building, like near the sill where they pass the food out, but not like, ugh, that's gross. There was just like
a bug,
a little black bug.
Windowsill.
It's chilling on the concrete windowsill, and we were looking at it, and it was like, oh, what's that bug doing there? And he just sitting there, maybe looking back and forth, and we were like, maybe that's Cookout Bug. And then it became the mascot of Cookout, because Cookout doesn't have a mascot.
And we would see Cookout Bug all the time.
Yeah, like at least 3 or 4 times going there.
Oh man, you have my picture of Cookout Bug, right? Or do I just have that picture?
You've got that picture.
I'll send you that picture so like they can see Cookout Bug.
Yeah, you see
Cookout Bug doing Cookout's non-official
you can see Justin's rendition of Cookout Bug.
Doing the non-official Cookout slogan, which Cookout, if you're listening, change your slogan from cooked outdoor style to...
We're not looking directly at it.
Yeah, we're not looking directly at it like a milkshake container, by the way. We're not directly looking at your food.
No, we're not that bad.
No. So
We don't get milkshakes every single night.
So change your thing from cooked outdoor style. Please, dear God, make your slogan rock out with your cookout. Because I would go to your place 10 times more than I normally do.
It would be hilarious.
Because it's hilarious. So you have to imagine a 6-foot-tall insect with a cookout tray yelling in a voice that's a combination of like
Danny DeVito,
Willem Dafoe, and William Dafoe's voice. Rock out with your cookout. Now that you're sufficiently horrified, but also amused, you may execute a
God!
oh man.
But so, from the cookout bug thing, it became known as Cookout Bug's house instead of Cookout.
Man, we saw that same bug several times. That's also a thing that solidified it. We would see the same bug in the same position on the windows. Weird.
Yeah.
We're like, there's that bug again. There's that bug again. Now he's not there anymore.
To the point where we don't see him and we're like, oh man, Cookout Bug's on.
I think he moved.
Exactly.
So,
the Cookout Bug moved away.
But it's still Cookout Bug's house in my mind. So we go to Cookout Bug's house, and that's where we have cookout. And man, we're usually drunk. We're not always drunk, but we sometimes drunk.
But then there's other things like Aaron getting the horrible puns.
Yeah, that is an inside joke.
Yep.
There's other horrible jokes when we get drunk too.
Like what?
I always bring up about how I need a 2.5 tattooed on my arm.
Why do you need a 2.5 tattoo? This is first I've heard about this.
All right, so whenever I'm in coasters and I'm always sitting there and I'll be drinking, and what'll happen is I'll have that third pint, and that's just a no-fly zone because that's like, it's usually like a nice craft beer, so it's usually stronger than just like some chill fuck in a bottle. So it's like, that's where I start to get sick. So I've decided that like I'm going to have a 2 tattooed on my arm, so when I'm sitting there drinking and I'm like, I'm gonna get another drink, I look down and be like, oh wait, no, I already had 2. That's my limit. And then like maybe a half, like tattooed. Like it's a tattoo that says, and maybe a half. So I can go, maybe I'll have a half depending on how I'm feeling. But like a permanent reminder to keep me from turning fun times into the not as fun times.
Oh, fair enough.
And then Aaron, when he gets really drunk, he's slow motion. He's slow motion.
That's true. I haven't seen that in a long time.
We haven't seen that since we got him like really fucking drunk that one time, and then he spent most of the time passed out.
Yeah, I don't like to think of those times. Those were not cool times.
No, they weren't. That's why I want a tattoo on my arm, so I don't have the not cool times.
Yeah.
But Aaron drank a whole bunch, and then he was all moving in slow motion. Like, people are like, what the fuck does that even mean? But I mean, like, Aaron quite literally was talking like really slow. It was like, holy shit. Like, he's moving slow to make sure his words come out right. I've been drunk in Seth's kitchen, and I turned to him, and I'm like, talking about like fucking up speeches when you're drunk. I quite literally said, and this has become an inside joke, like I quite literally said, I slur my lurds.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is an inside joke, alright.
And that's become an inside joke because it was perfect. Like Seth looked at me like, what?
Yep, and so whenever you mess up your words,
Actually,
we've slurred our words on this podcast a couple times tonight.
I've backwards words also and shit, like replace them.
Yeah, how do
Like
you
I'm sitting there watching something, or sitting there watching something over at Seth's house, and then Seth was like, "What'd you think of that?" And I was like, "Man, I think it's really cool how a movie could quick."
Oh yeah.
And then Seth like stops. He like turns to me. He's like, "What?" And I'm like, "What?" Because I didn't catch the fact.
Jeez.
I didn't catch that I inverted those. And he's just like, "Did you mean to do that?" I'm like, "Mean to do what?" And he's like, "What?" Like he's about to throw like a kid. He's about to like throw a fit. I might be dyslexic.
Shit.
I might just very well be dyslexic.
God.
That wouldn't even surprise me if I was dyslexic.
30 phrases and things you can think of, Aaron?
I've been trying so hard to think of other ones because I know we have a billion of them.
We have a billion inside
And
jokes.
there's so many of them. I forget when I'm using them. We'll use them on the next podcast, and we'll be like, oh, we should have like freaking
mentioned those.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. Like, I think the best example for these kind of inside jokes for anyone that has seen what is At World's End, the one with the guys and they go to the bar hopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. At World's End when fucking what's his face? God, Simon
Nick Crow,
Pegg.
yeah.
Simon Pegg is explaining like that one inside joke when he's like, "Let's boo boo" or whatever, and they're like, "The fuck are you even talking about?" And then he explained like all the different incarnations of where that shit came from. That's exactly what like that's real.
Yeah.
That was the realest thing. I was like, that was the realest. That happens, or at least that happens with us. We've got inside jokes that
Have devolved into mean other things.
devolved
from what
to
they were.
mean other things through different events that we like placed on them, and then they've become a part of our like lexicon to the part where we don't actually distinguish them from like
Yeah.
we like yeah.
It's like
not-
speaking another language.
almost. We have a lot of inside jokes like that, and it's kind of weird because like a lot of them I feel have been replaced with like a lot of other current references to things.
Yeah. Well, there's like, no. Another one is one we used for the closer on an earlier podcast, and that's the Baba Yaga.
Oh yeah, the Baba Yaga.
Where'd that one start?
And that started from Hellboy.
Not that, but who initially said it like that?
The Baba Yaga.
Yeah, who
I'm trying to actually say Baba Yaga. I don't know, maybe it was you.
It might have been. There's also fucking Ethan Sasquatch noise. I don't even remember how that fucking started.
Something like having him to be scared.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
And then you're like, you sound like Sasquatch.
Because we were just doing some campy, stupid shit, and I told him he had to sound scared, and that's the fucking noise that came out. And it just fucking tickled the shit out of me because he sounded like you'd expect a Sasquatch to sound like from deeper in the woods.
Yeah, inside jokes are fun, so tell us about your inside jokes. People who are listening to us talk about ours. Well, I don't know, like, there could be some fucking funny lines.
Oh yeah.
You know, it'll be weird. It'll be weird to see, like, we say this all the time, and like, we have no context.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Oh man, hot garbage.
Oh god, forgot about that. That was okay. Tell that one.
Okay, so I'm in my room, and this is like sophomore year college, and it's like the first year, like junior year, whatever. I had a roommate I didn't know, and I was accidentally put like in a freshman dorm or whatever, or not accidentally. I just like they put me in a freshman dorm because I didn't like sign up early enough. But I don't remember getting into the paperwork or anything for like actually going in and filling out for dorms. So like I'm stuck in this freshman dorm or whatever. My roommate's a freshman, but he's a nice guy. It's all cool, and he's over in the bed with his girlfriend or whatever, and they had like woken up or whatever, and they were talking, and I like have my face behind a book because I got to read some shit for a class. So I'm just laying there reclining reading. They can't see my face, and I can't see them, and I hear like someone like I think it's his girlfriend mentioned something about him having morning breath. Now I don't. Yeah, it was like one of them mentions like having morning breath.
Yeah, no, the girl she says that she's got to get up and go brush her teeth because she's got morning breath and it smells bad.
Yeah, it was something like that. But the best part was my roommate's response. My roommate Phil, he quite literally, his response, like I don't hear the beginning part of the sentence, I just hear the end of the sentence. And the end of the sentence that I hear is, hot garbage. So I start to lose it behind my book. I'm like holding it closer to my face and like I've got my lips shut. Like I'm trying not to bust out laughing. And he just quite literally is like, it's like hot garbage. Like,
Oh man,
that it was too funny. I'm like sitting there like it was good though.
That's one of my favorites. Just the fucking phrase like hot garbage.
Hot garbage. Yeah, we say hot garbage a lot.
Okay, there's two that I know that I came up with, but I cannot for the life of me remember where they're from. And one of them is
They can help you out with this mystery.
And one of them is like you're talking about things like no, this house is really nice and spacious. I mean, you get a lot of open air in here and a lot of sunlight, like your grave.
I've never heard that one before.
You're talking about something and then you just throw like your grave at the end of it, and I cannot remember where that fucking came from.
Man, that
like your grave.
it sounds like a youism. I don't know. I know it wasn't me, and I know it wasn't Aaron. It's either gonna be you, Seth, or it's.
No,
either
I know
you,
I was
Seth.
initially the one to say it. I just cannot remember when I first did. Because I know it was around you guys, and that's why it kind of like became something we would say every now and again.
I haven't used it in a while. I haven't heard it in a while, but I like that one. I do like that one a lot. What's the other one you can't remember?
The other one is I think this initially started in actually thinking about it now. I think it started in the dorm, and it was like you and me and Ethan and Joanna, and it was like one of the Sunday nights where we would go down to the little Spartan restaurant and get like the quesadillas and shit, and come back to the room and sit around, and you got like Ethan wanted to go fucking sit on his bed, and Joanna wanted to go sit in the chair or something like that, and we had pulled out the table, and I was sitting there and you were sitting there, and they were talking about wanting to sit and eat where they were, and I said something about like, no, we're gonna come over here and we're gonna sit and eat like a family. It's like screamed and slammed my fist down on the table. So I think that's where that initiated from, but then it became like anything that other people don't really want to do, but you want to do that involves more people, just throwing that in at the end of describing the act.
No, you're gonna do it like a family.
It's like, no, we're going to get in this car, and we're going to go watch those clowns harass people and set them on fire like a family!
Oh, man. There was another one I thought of, too, when we were talking about, like, those.
I remembered one.
What'd you remember?
I remembered, and now all I need is a wand. Well, there's your money, Harry. Gringotts Wizard Bank!
Oh, my God. There's your money, Harry. Gringotts, the Wizard Bank. Like, okay, so the plan is this. I'm going to get a copy of the first Harry Potter film, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. When Harry Potter makes a mention of getting some stuff, and then Hagrid's like, there's your money, Harry, Gringotts, the Wizard Bank. It's going to cut to, like, the beginning of, like, the fucking, like, trip or whatever, like it's gonna be like, all I need is a wand. It's like, there's your money, Harry. And it's like, it's gonna loop that section of the film where they're in fucking Diagon Alley continuously from that point, and it won't stop for the rest of the runtime. And it just became hilarious to just say, there's your money, Harry. Gringotts, the Wizard Bank, for some reason.
Or just devolve into Gringotts Wizard Bank.
Yeah.
Oh man, maybe he died.
Yes, that was one.
That was when we were teenagers, and you can tell.
Yeah, that was when we were in high school. I remember, because we would sit in the library before class.
Sometimes one of us wouldn't show.
Yeah.
One of us would be late, and then someone would say like, "Where's so and so?" And then to which the response would be,
Maybe he died. And I remember distinctly, because I think I was the one that started saying it, and Casey watched a lot of Fairly Odd Parents at the time, and I went over to Casey's house one afternoon, and he was like, dude, look at this. And there's an episode where Timmy's dad is doing something and waiting for like people to show up, and the mom's like, well, where's so-and-so and such and such? They were supposed to be here by now. And Timmy's dad just goes, maybe they're dead. And walks out of this scene. So I was like, man, motherfucker
modified our things.
Yeah. What?
It's still a funny response. Maybe they're dead, and he just leaves. Maybe they died, and you just walk out.
God.
We also like to quote just inappropriate things from
Everywhere.
episode 2.
Episode 2, and we misquote that shit too. He doesn't even say I love. He doesn't even say it like that. He says I miss you so much, but we've just turned it into I love you so much.
But like we misquote the shit out of things sometimes. Like you dishonored me and you dishonored my family from fucking finishing the game, which is a hilarious fucking movie.
Not actually the line in the movie.
Not at all.
Which is weird when I watch it and the line doesn't happen, and I'm like,
it's like, why isn't he saying it right?
Why did he say it the way I remembered saying it? Oh man, fucking we quote episode 2 though.
Oh yeah, we do.
Man, I think
what's the one?
The funniest joke for me and my brother is in episode 1 though.
What's that one?
We're sitting there watching episode 1, and like Qui-Gon's like, tells Anakin he's free. Like 10-year-old Anakin turns right around to his mom and is like, "Did you hear that?" And when I was watching it one afternoon, I was just sitting there and I just said, "No, I missed it. What'd he say?" That like I just said that shit. Like I just said that shit in place of her, and me and Jeff lost it, and I lost it because it's just like that'd have been the best sarcastic response if his mom was like, "Nah, I missed it. What'd he say?" Because it's just right fucking there, right there. He just turned around and was like, "Did you get?" Like, no, fuck you.
I heard somebody complain about the fact that, you know, they don't go back for Anakin's mom in that movie. She's just like stuck as a slave. They don't go and free her.
Yeah, that'd have been cool if Anakin had been right and they did free the slaves. Like, they freed multiple people. It wasn't just him.
Yeah.
Like, and for a kid that has the Force, he didn't use the Force, and no one else seemed to kind of detect he had the Force at all.
Yeah.
Like, there were 3 Force users on the planet. They didn't even sense a disturbance or anything.
Yeah.
You think they would have felt him away, like, in the ship. You think Darth Maul would have been like... My brother's like, you think Darth Maul would have been sitting around and been like, the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And then he, like, called Palpatine back and was like, nigga, I found something on this planet, man. There's some weird shit happening. And then Palpatine's like, what do you mean? It's like, there's a dude that's more powerful than you. And you're like, nah, show me.
Yeah.
You think, like, Palpatine would, like, stutter or some shit when he, like, meets Anakin for the first time when they land on
That's
the
a
planet.
good point, yeah.
And he'd be like, hey, and he'd be like, who the hell is this kid? Because, like, he doesn't know how to hide the Force.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he doesn't know how to, like, cloak his presence. But you can't be like, he's so powerful, and then be like, nah, but he's just a kid, he ain't powerful. Like,
Or-
that's 2 different things.
Yeah.
If he could pod race, why couldn't he, like, also move shit?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
With his mind and whatever. I don't know. Whatever. That's a riff tracks for a whole nother day.
Yeah. And speaking of which, one of the things we've gotten to the point where we, as it can be pretty obvious from our earlier podcast, we quote a shit ton of the Room,
Oh, yes.
that fucking Tommy Wiseau movie.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Mark.
What a crazy story, Mark.
Maybe he died.
And it's also become like an inside
Oh,
joke.
hi, doggy.
It's also become an inside joke for us. The fucking imitation of the George W. Bush laugh.
Yes. And that was that just because you were doing it? Like,
Yeah.
what were you doing it in reference to? Were you just... I think you were doing that for Drew, maybe? Like his impression of him?
Well, I think it started as an impression of Drew.
And then
he'd
it
be
became
talking-
our
like, he'd be
impression
like,
of you.
Yeah, to the point where I would do it around you guys and you wouldn't even fucking notice anymore. Because you'd be like, oh, that's what Chris does. Because I'd be trying to imitate my cousin and be like, man, I really love baseball. I love going and playing it. I love watching it. I love everything about it.
That's right.
I'm just expecting you to be like, baseball shrimp, catcher mitt shrimp, baseball bat shrimp. Like, just start listing shrimps.
I'm a bat.
I'm a bat.
Cut.
Yeah, we also quote some flavors of the month.
Yeah. But they don't, some of them stick around for a while and some of them don't. Or like,
If it's a JonTron quote,
If it's
Yeah. Seems to have
JonTron,
some staying
if it's
power.
JonTron
Yeah.
quote, it has some staying power.
it has some staying power with the 3 of us.
Yeah, because we still are like, is that how that works?
Yeah.
We just quote the
X-Specs.
X-Backs. I love shouting that shit. My brother would be like on the Xbox, and I'll just be like X-Backs.
Or there was there's the one inside joke that you said for a while where you would just like wander towards someone with your arms out like you were gonna give them a hug and just go,
oh yeah.
That's because Joaquin Phoenix was killed. Man, that's a long explanation. It's like, well, you see, Joaquin Phoenix seems to kill everyone he hugs in the movie Gladiator. No. You go back, you watch Gladiator, and then you tell me that doesn't what happens. So like, I'm watching Joaquin Phoenix and like other movies, being like, he's gonna kill you. You look out! Don't let him hug you. And it's just like. It became like the killing curse, and it's just like, oh, just going slow mo in for the hug. Also, I just love saying Avada Kedavra the way Lord Voldemort does because it's so over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Or it's like the other fucking the one we've got where we started just making fun of fucking Colin Farrell
Oh yeah.
and his line from what is it? From Seven Psychopaths where he says it.
Sure, you're my best friend.
You're my best friend.
That's not even,
Sure,
that's
you're
not
my
even
best
his
friend.
line. That's the other guy pretending
Yeah.
to be him
It is,
in his
right.
like thing in his spiel at the end.
Yeah.
When he's talking about like the huge gunfight that's gonna ensue. He's like, "You're my best friend. Sure, you're my best friend." He like puts his hands like out like he's got him on his face or whatever.
And then we saw something where it's pointing out a bunch of things about actors, like how Colin Farrell constantly touches his own face in his movies.
Yeah.
So it became us like using both of our hands to almost completely mask our fucking face while saying, "You're my best friend. Sure, you're my best friend."
And then we made half-ass versions of our own.
We made
jokes.
half-assed
Yeah.
versions of our own jokes. So for that one, you just put like 2 fingers on your cheek and you just go, "You're all right."
Yep. Or the fucking you guys walking up to each other and just going, "Hey, it's always spoke, it's always spoke," and like doing the fake stabbing and shit
Oh
like that.
wow, yeah.
We love
For
that one,
our
though.
Red Wedding,
Yeah.
the Red Wedding joke.
Ah.
And then we have the stupid joke with the 96 Quite Bitter Beings song, which is just us doing the tune to that.
What?
Yeah, it's just.
But that's a great song, though.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like, so there's a band called Camp Kill Yourself.
Okay.
And they did this song, and there's, like, this fucking video, like, called, I'm gonna fuck up the name. You say it, Aaron.
96 Quite Bitter Beings.
No. The name of the video that it's from.
Oh,
the
CKY.
Thank you. Yeah, I keep wanting to say CMYK, which is wrong in this context. So CKY, it used to be like a show, but I know it's like movies for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Jackass before Jackass.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the 90s encapsulate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've got like bands and stuff that play. And one of them was 90. It was just that band, and they have this band of the same name, and their song 96 Quite Bitter Beans is good.
Yeah.
It's just really good. So, we got that going on. I was gonna say we got a couple other half-assed versions. I can't even remember where they are now. Like there's some of them that are just
Lost to time.
Where'd the one come out that was like da-na-na-na, so I can eat it?
Oh, that's the Sum 41 song. But then we also just one time Seth just said
yes. Okay, Seth just. I almost feel like we should just almost have him do it, unless your curiosity's burning at your souls.
Like for us to break down like that, we've got to give it to him.
All right, yeah. Like you mean let him tell it?
We've got to give it. We got to tell the listeners.
Okay. So basically, he was like, we're sitting there and we're like. The tune to that song is like That's not. Wait, did you say that was who again?
Some harmony right there.
I was gonna say that's not Sum 41. That's like the beginning of Fat Lip.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's the name of the. Okay, my bad.
The Fat Lip's name of the song.
Yeah, Fat Lip's the name of the song. That's right. That's only song.
But anyway, the whole point is.
So Seth one day was just like, shit on my face, shit on my face, shit on my face, so I can eat it. Which naturally.
We're never gonna stop saying that.
Which naturally elicited.
Jumped on that.
It elicited from me. The best part is now we don't even need to say the whole thing. Seth will just be like, so I can eat it. And we'll mentally put in the rest.
Holy shit!
It kind of saves time because we would break down if he said it the whole thing every time.
It saves our laughter for the end.
Yeah.
But now he doesn't not say so I can eat it at the end. Oh man.
Oh holy shit.
It also reminds me of when you're like and so he spoke with the stabbing and shit. Game of Thrones reference. That also reminded me of like shoving someone down the stairs and just be like the banister send their regards.
Damn it. Oh god.
Oh man, I hope to one day do that. But like I have to have a good reason for shoving someone down like a 10-story flight of steps. The banisters send their regards, kick. I remember there was a time where it was like, this is Cake Town.
Yeah.
Frosting.
God.
Then we will hug in the shade.
God.
Jokes of yesteryear.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Woo! Well, that was a good laugh, I must say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do this again sometime.
You guys remember any more off the top of your head?
No, I think
can't.
that's all for tonight.
Yeah, I think that's all for tonight. We could be here all night
That's true.
with big blocks of like chunk change of like mishap conversation until we remember the hell what we were talking about.
Well, on that note, thanks for joining us, guys, and learning a bit more about our weird fucking stuff. But this has been another Ordinary Men Who Fight Like Heroes podcast. And remember, Showa.